In September 2024, Nifty hit an all-time high of 26,277, marking a historic moment in the Indian markets. Riding this bull wave, CAMS soared to its all-time high in December 2024, but then something changed. Since then, the stock has crashed by 40%. Now, what went wrong? Was it the market sentiment or regulatory changes or something deeper? So in today's video, we'll try to answer a few questions like what went wrong with CAMS and what's next to be watched out for CAMS. Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very interesting video about CAMS. But before we dig down into the questions that we discussed in the introduction of this video, first and foremost, let's understand about some basics of CAMS. This company started its journey back in 1988, where it began providing essential back office services to the mutual funds in India. It is regulated by SEBI and it was classified as a qualified registrar and transfer agent. But just in case if you are like, what is an RTA? What is a registrar and transfer agent? What do we mean by providing back office services to mutual funds? If you want to know about this in a simple and fun-filled manner, have a look at this. Chandu visits a mutual fund app, selects a mutual fund which suits his investment objective, and then sets up an SIP of 1000 rupees per month. Now the AMC takes Chandu's money and invests it in different stocks, bonds, or other assets based on the fund's objective. But then what does an RTA do? When Chandu's SIP amount is invested, the RTA keeps track of his investment. It calculates how many mutual fund units Chandu should receive based on the NAV. The RTA updates Chandu's account with the newly allotted units and it also maintains records of all transactions, redemptions, and unit holdings. So, whenever Chandu checks his mutual fund statement, the details are not provided by AMC but they are provided by the RTA. In short, RTA is a company that acts as a bridge between the mutual funds and the investors. Well, I hope you enjoyed Chandu's example. What happened? Oh, you're still confused. Oh, how did Chandu understand which mutual fund was suitable for him? Chandu had done my course on magic of mutual funds. This is a course for even beginners who have no understanding about mutual funds. We start right from basics of mutual fund and we take you to understanding or how to select a mutual fund which suits you. We have also taught about how mutual funds can be used as a tool even for retirement planning. So if you want to get hands-on understanding on this entire topic, don't forget to check out our website rachanaranade.com. The links are there in the description box and in the pinned comment below. Well, now coming back to CAMS, I'm sure you understood what services CAMS or any other RTA would provide. But if you want to get a whole understanding of the bunch of services that they render, have a look at this. Now you can see, oh, so many services. Absolutely, that's what they provide. If you want, you can pause the video, take a screenshot, and read carefully. But then they provide all these services, agreed. To whom is the question? See, majority of the services are provided to mutual funds, and that is the reason why they would charge some money from whom? From mutual funds. So let's understand the overall revenue split for this company, and for that, have a look at this graph. You'll see that almost 73% of the revenue is generated from something known as an asset based revenue. Now, what do we mean by this? They basically charge a percentage of their revenue based on what? Based on the AUM of the mutual fund. So, higher the AUM, higher will be the fees that this company will get. Lower the AUM, lower is the fees that this company is going to get. Okay. The second type is non asset based revenue, which is accounting for roughly 13.8% of the company's revenue. Now, to give you an example of this, see, even today, there'll be a lot of investors who would say, I don't want to hold demat, I don't want to hold units of mutual funds in a demat account. I would still go by the traditional method. I would fill up a form, sign this, that, all this. This is like physical work, a lot of physical forms which will have to be filled, which will have to be handled. And for that, CAMS typically charges a flat fee for this. So, this would be possibly an additional fee that they would charge the mutual funds, and that is the reason why this gets classified under non asset based revenue. Okay, and ultimately the final one, 12.9% of the revenue, that is generated from a non mutual fund based. So what do I mean by this? So let's understand. Assume that they are providing these RTA services, same back office services, to whom? To a PMS, portfolio management services company, to an AIF, alternate investment fund, to maybe an insurance company. Now whenever they generate revenue from all these entities, that will be clubbed up under a non-mutual fund based revenue. And as per the management, they plan to take this up from the current 12.9% to roughly 20% in the next 2 to 3 years. Well, now that you have understood a lot about the business of CAMS, now let's understand what's wrong with CAMS. Well, now let's move on to the most important part of this video as to what's wrong with CAMS. Always understand that a company like CAMS is highly dependent on the overall market sentiment. It's pretty much exposed to cyclicality. If the market sentiment is good, typically we have seen in the past that the stock tends to perform better. When the market sentiment dampens, obviously the stock also starts performing in a comparatively negative way. Am I just saying this out of no context, or do I have some proof for that? Of course I have. What I'll do is I'll show you a comparison between Nifty and CAMS, right? So now if you have a look at this, you will see what had happened is that Nifty was going up and so was CAMS. Okay, it's a positive correlation. When Nifty was kind of going down, again here you can see CAMS is also going down, a kind of a sideways trend. Here also you can see kind of a sideways trend, and then you can see when Nifty has gone up quite a bit from here, again CAMS has run up way too much. But this is a classic example of a positive correlation. What you can see that this correlation has been slightly broken, slightly disturbed in in this specific time frame, but the data is only barely up to December. It's not even the month of December, I guess so. So everyone knows, I've said this so many times, as per SEBI's latest regulations, I'm not allowed to show you the latest price of a stock for the last 3 months. Okay, so now what you have to do, your homework: December, January, February, 3 months data you have to check, like a comparison, and see whether Nifty and CAMS stock price are going in tandem, they are showing a positive correlation or not, and you will get the answer for yourself, right? So all in all, you can see that yes, they are in a positive correlation, but Nifty fell down, and that is one of the reasons why, because of the negative market sentiment, even CAMS saw a 40% fall. And if you're asking me that why did Nifty fall, it means that you are not following my Thursday live streams. Every Thursday 9 p.m. I come live, I talk about the overall reasons about what's happening in the market. We discuss so many points. It's a fun discussion, so don't forget to join every Thursday 9 p.m. Okay, but just in case if you have not watched few of my live streams, we'll give you a quick wrap up as to why markets are correcting right now. It starts right from the overall hype in the valuations. It was about the bad quarterly or a weak quarterly result, as I must say. Overall, FIs withdrawing money from the market, bond yields, crude oil prices, Trump tariff policy, so many things that came in together, because of which we saw a correction in the market. Okay, now moving on to the second point. So I hope first point is clear. Negative sentiment in the market is going to create a negative sentiment in this stock price also. Okay, second point is that a majority of the revenues for this company are linked with the AUM size. Okay, that's what we saw, right? Almost 74% or 73% of the revenue for this company was coming from an asset based revenue. So higher the AUM, higher will be the revenue for the company. Lower the AUM, or if there is a slight decline or a sluggishness in the AUM, that is again going to be reflected in the revenues of this company. So first let's understand how does the AUM look like for the mutual fund industry as a whole. Okay, now if you have a look at this chart, you will see from Jan 24 to Jan 25, even if the overall growth has been from 52.89 trillions to 68.05 trillions, what we can see is that there was a sluggishness here: 68.5, 68.05, an increase to 69.33, but again a decrease to 68.05 again. All these rupees in trillions. The only problem is that the Feb data is yet to be announced. But if you see here, there are great chances that Feb data may be a shade lower or very similar to this. Okay. Now, this will definitely get reflected in their revenues. If the AUM is going to be less, their revenues are also going to be comparatively lower, because a major percentage of their revenue comes as an asset based revenue. Okay, one more point. So that, I hope first 2 points are clear. First one was about the overall market sentiment, second one was about the impact on AUMs, third point is about the overall kind of dampened Q3 numbers. Now if you compare YOY numbers, they are not that bad, but if you compare QOQ numbers, they are not that great. So what you see here, see YOY revenue growth is amazing. Then you can see non-mutual fund revenue is also nice. Overall mutual fund revenue grew nicely, share of non mutual fund revenue was up nicely, EBITDA is nice, PAT is nice, everything is fair enough. But now if I were to do a QOQ instead of YOY, just have a look at this. Asset based revenue 28.8% YOY, but QOQ 2%. Non asset based revenue QOQ 1.1%, mutual fund revenue QOQ 1.3%, non mutual fund revenue a degrowth of 3.1%. So all in all, I hope you have understood. Acha, again, even revenue growth at at large, total revenue growth is just 1.3% QOQ versus YOY was 27.6%. So I hope you have understood that QOQ numbers were not that great. But now you also have to understand that like Nifty was overvalued, was this stock also overvalued? And if yes, now after a 40% fall, how does it look like? And for that, we'll go on screener. So now I'm on CAMS, I'm just scrolling down, and here you can see P ratio, 5-year P ratio. Okay. Now 5-year median P is how much? 45.3, and that you can see with the help of this grayish dotted line. Okay, the horizontal grayish dotted line. What you can see is from Feb 24, almost after that, you can see that the PE was continuously above the median P, but post the sharp fall in the stock, the median PE is, I mean, the current PE, which is at 38.4, is way lower than the median PE, which is 45.3. Okay. This point is clear, I hope. This is a 5-year scenario. Let's check what is for 3-year scenario. Now, for 3-year also, you can see that the stock was above its median PE for a long time. But after the current correction, the current PE is at 38.4, whereas the median PE is at 43.2. If you even have a look at a 1-year data, you can see that, oh, this was again same point. It was there. See, this is what, June 24. Now, since June 24 till almost December or Jan, you can see that the PE was continuously above the median PE, but currently the PE is at 38.4 and the median PE is what, 55.3 for a yearly data. Now, all in all, I hope you have understood that were the valuations kind of stretched before the fall? Yes, but post the fall, be it a 1-year time frame, 3-year time frame, or a 5-year time frame, the current PE is way lower than the median PE. I hope so you have understood about the entire point on valuation. So what did we do in this entire section of what's wrong with CAMS? We talked about 4 key points. I'm just quickly summarizing this for you. The first point was about the overall market sentiment. Overall market sentiment, if it is weak, it's not good for CAMS. Number 2, we talked about the growth in AUM. If the growth is not that great, if it is flattish, if it is slightly negative, again not good for CAMS. Third point, we talked about the Q3 data, wherein we said that okay, YOY numbers were good, but the QOQ numbers were not that great. Well, even if you were to just dig down a little bit more deep, and if you were to understand about their revenue growth, again on a QOQ basis, that is flat. If you check the operating EBITDA QOQ, again flat. If you check the PBT QOQ, again flat. Even if you check QOQ PAT, again that is also flat. So Q3 numbers on a QOQ basis were not that great. And the fourth point that we discussed was about the valuation. And in valuation, we said that though the valuation was above the median P, quite above the median P, till the stock was rallying, post the almost 40% fall, right now in all 3 time frames, it is trading way lower than the median P. Now let's move on with the grand finale. What next? I think you are in a position to answer this question of what next, because we have talked about this so much logically. See, if the market sentiment is negative, this stock has shown a negative movement, basically a positive correlation between Nifty and between CAMS stock. Now, ideally, what should we check? What about the market? Are some positive sentiments expected in the market or not? Is some positive move expected in the market or not? If yes, would that be taken as a good sign for CAMS? Absolutely yes. Number 2, we have to keep on tracking what is the AUM growth in the overall market, because higher the AUM, better it is going to be for this stock. We also have to check how much are the SIP contributions coming in. If you have a look at this chart, you can see that SIP contributions have been continuously growing. As per the latest Jan data, our SIP stand at 26,400 crore on a monthly basis. Amazing amount, right? So if AUM keeps on increasing, SIPs keep on increasing, that is going to be a good sign for this stock. And number 3, if you remember, I told you that yes, it's a negative point, that it is pretty much cyclical, it's pretty much correlated with the market. But if they want to move away from this correlation a little bit, they have to ensure that the non-mutual fund based revenue that they are getting, roughly around 12.9 13% right now, that they have to take it to the point where they have actually promised, or not promised, they have commented on it. If you remember, I told you that they had said that in the next 2 to 3 years, they want to take this revenue split to almost 20%. 20% of the revenue should come from non-mutual fund based industries. So we have to check, as an investor, I'll check whether they are walking the talk or they are not able to meet whatever they had decided. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. You found a lot of value in this video. If you did, please don't forget to smash the like button. Please don't forget to share this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye bye.